It's Monday, it's 8 p.m, and it's the Monday assessment.
Good evening all, and as Mr. Guy Butters just alluded to, this is the Monday assessment. It is 8 p.m, or just a little after. We apologise for that, a few hiccups. And it is indeed the Monday assessment on the View From The Medway. We will have Guy on the YouTube channel later this month to sit down and talk all things career, but mainly Jill's. Co-host Matt was due to host this evening, but he was on media duties on KMTV representing the channel. We can't keep letting him have all the limelight, so I thought I'd take over this evening. So without further ado, we are joined by Matt and the miserable old bastard, Warren. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Well, I'm still waiting for my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, or would it be Gillingham High Street? I don't know. One of the two will do.
Costa Coffee, mate.
Costa Coffee.
Yeah, Costa Coffee. Yeah, just like Armani Little. That'll do. That'll do.
Mate, that'll do. So yeah, boys. So we're here to talk about the Doncaster v Gills game at the weekend, and then on the coach journey up, I got a very special message. So we will start with the club statement from today. So the board of Gillingham Football Club have called a shareholders meeting to consider removing Mr. Scally as a director of the club. Our investigations are ongoing, so we are unable to comment further at this stage. So we will probably have a lengthy conversation about this. So we will start with you, Warren. What are your thoughts?
Well, at the end of the day, I spoke to Joe Comper. The best thing I think Gillingham fans can do is just wait till the October the 10th. I'm sure everything will be as transparent as possible as the club can be. Nobody knows. Obviously, there's a lot of rumour and conjecture over what's going on with Paul and Brad. But to me, it's just the next step in the process of Brad owning the club and the club moving on and moving forward.
Yeah. Matt?
I mean, first off, I've got to say, if you haven't watched it, I'm sure we'll be posting it out later. But look, I said on the KMTV interview, and I'll say the same thing again today, right now, that I will forever be grateful for what Paul Scally did back in 1995, because if he hadn't come along with that famous £1 coin, we may not have had a football club to be supporting in 2024. Ultimately, whatever's happened behind the scenes, whatever it is going on, let the club deal with it. Let them get their investigation out of the way. I mean, I think we all pretty much know the answer, what's going to happen come this meeting, because more people seem to want him out than want him to stay there. But look, he's been at the club for 28 years. At the end of the day, he's really kept us in the Football League. He kept us financially stable. I will always be grateful for him, but it's no longer his football team. It's it's Brad and Shannon's. They've come in as the custodians of this football club. It is time, I think, for him to slowly slip away. He never did himself any justice with some of the stuff he came out and said in the media. That always put fans against him. But that's the type of person he is. He's not afraid to say it how he feels it is. But I think when you're in a position of power like Paul Scally was, unfortunately, those kind of comments that he came out and mentioned, they needed to be kept behind closed doors. So he unfortunately got himself a lot of enemies because of those comments. But look, it's Brad and Shannon's club now. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, it's one of them, isn't it? I think for the first 10 years that he was there, we kind of, he did save us, but then it just went down. First 10 years or so, and then we started gradually going downhill. I think when we got to the Championship, it was more of a cash cow for him. I think me and Warren alluded to this on Saturday when we were at Doncaster. We were talking about it. So yeah, I think Warren, you're of the same boat, aren't you?
Yes, mate. I just want to correct Matt on one thing. I don't think Paul Scally ever paid Tony Smith his pound.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, actually, to be honest. But look, I've got to say this in his defence, because everyone seems to forget about this. But you look where we were, in sort of, the early 2000s, and you look where Southend were. Look where Southend are now. Look how much debt they are in, and look how much Gillingham's debt we're in. There's a vast, vast gap. So, the fact that he kept us financially, financially stable as a team, I think that's got to be some credit to the man. But personally, the things that he did, the comments that he came out with, some of the stuff he said, totally wrong. I get the backlash towards him, but I'm not going to say anything bad about the man. But then again, I've not got anything great to say about him either.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. I mean, I was there in '95 in the old Gill Social Club when Paul Scally came in, and
I was there too. I would have seen you.
Yeah, but I was probably a grown-up. And you was probably...
I would have been 10.
Warren was in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I was 10 at the time.
I mean, when Paul Scally came in, he did a lot of good. It was a bit like Brad and Shannon in many ways, that he went to private parties, he did other things. I think that even in his later years, Paul Scally came to my mate's funeral, to the wake, to pay his respects, and he always did that with any supporter that unfortunately passed away. I just think that he tarnished his own image. Unfortunately, what goes around comes around, and I think at this point, as I say, we need a clean sweep. I think we need a fresh start, and we're not going to get that fresh start all the while that Paul's still on the board. I hope Paul takes his money, whatever the Gallinsons have paid him or going to pay him, whatever. Right? Hope he enjoys the money. Enjoy your retirement. Right? Thank you very much. You gave me Championship football for 4 years, which I never ever thought we would get. But unfortunately, you have to move on. And will there be tears shed? Probably not. Will people of an older ilk like myself remember him saving the club and getting us to the Championship? Yes, we will. Will I remember him clearing £16 million worth of debt just like that? Yes. Do I remember the troubles that we had with ITV Digital? Yes. Do I remember the most fantastic football club, team-wise, for a good period of time of, mate, probably about 8-9 years, where we were competitive in every game we played. Because before that, we weren't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the way he runs down the club at the end, where we knew if it wasn't for Brad and Shannon coming in, we would have been relegated to the conference. So let's look at both sides. Yes, he took us to the Championship. Yes, we had great years, but he could quite easily have taken us down at the conference.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what? I said, I alluded to it on Saturday when we spoke about it, and I just said, like, it was about 9 or 10 years where it just gave us absolutely, like, as fans. And 1995, I was 8 years old, so it was kind of one of them things where if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be a fan in a way. I'm not sucking up to him because I think that towards the end of his tenure, he was absolutely terrible. And I spoke to an ex-club official tonight about coming on, and he was like, "No, I'm going to a leaving party." No pun intended. So yeah, so that was quite an entertaining thing. But like Matt says, like you said, we need to move on. We need to go on from what we have now, and if it wasn't for him, maybe we wouldn't be in the position we are now, where we have great owners, we have a great support network within the club, the club community. Everyone is such on a high at the moment. So yeah. So Matt, was you going to say something, mate?
No, I was going to say. I mean, obviously Warren will remember, pre-Medway stand, pre the new Rainham End, how sort of damp and dingy the club was, and he did genuinely in those early days come in and try and breathe in as much fresh life to that club as possible. But unfortunately, sort of with the collapse of ITV Digital, as Warren said, he banked a lot of money obviously into that stadium, thinking that money was going to come from ITV Digital. It didn't. There has obviously been issues with players that have obviously left and not been paid their wages. All these little things do add up. Gillingham fans, obviously, look, we don't forget this. I don't know how many hundreds, of people have stayed away because of him, but if he was to be completely removed from the club, those fans are hopefully going to come back. And look, it is Brandon Shannon's club now. Yes, they are the custodians of this football club. They've come out and said it themselves, but it's their club. It should be their decision. I actually think this is a really bold, brave move for them to come out and obviously say that they're putting this in place for the shareholders to come along and vote on. So whether something else has happened behind the scenes, we can only speculate. We can only guess. Rumours are going to become rife. Let's get this next month out of the way. Let's get to the 10th. Let's get the decision done. Find out what's going to happen. If he's still a part of the club because he's been kept in, then so be it. If he's gone, we can move on. We can forget about it, and let Brandon Shannon now run this club the way that they see fit.
Yeah, but right? Okay, so I'm going to then put a question to both of you. Do you think that, and this isn't with any part of the show, it's just going like totally wild. Do you think there would be anyone that would keep him around? And if so, would it be a majority or a minority?
I'd keep him around just to piss everyone off.
A minority. I mean,
I just want to apologise for the swearing from Warren there. Yeah, okay.
I would.
I
no one's going to vote for him. No one's going to vote for him.
No.
Just be honest.
I think there might be a minority.
No, I alluded.
Don't forget he's got 33%
to it earlier. He is. He's been a football chairman. He's been a football chairman for 27 years. There's a lot he does know about this football club. And look, I can guarantee the only reason that he stayed on last year was because Brandon Shannon wanted to lean on him for some advice. How would you do this? What would you do in this situation? Ultimately, they would have still made the final decision, but they would have lent on him. I think there is going to be a small majority that are going to say keep him around. But I do think ultimately the decision at the end of the day will be that Paul Scally has been removed as a director of this football club. It's pretty much, I think the writing is on the wall for him. I'm always going to be thankful for him. I'm not going to say anything bad about him because at the end of the day, 27 years in charge of a football club, you've got to have been doing something. Okay, people might not have liked him as a person. That's fine. People don't like me as a person. It is to still be in charge, of a football club after 25 years. That is some feat, and to not have been 25 million pounds in debt when the Gallisons took over, that is some great feat. Yes, he made some poor decisions, like I think getting rid of the women's football team and banning certain fans, and then coming out and saying certain stuff online. But yeah, it's time for him to now sort of move away, let the Gallisons take this club on, let them put their vision into what they want this club to become. And I said it once, I'm going to say it again. I do genuinely believe if they can get full reins of this club, we will be a championship team pretty soon again.
Yeah, well, we will see. And when we go back to Scully and his banning of fans, I think the Scully in were a bit more vocal and a bit more aggressive than Scully out. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, we will get on to Saturday's lineup before we go for this for an hour. So we had Glenn Morris in goal, Romeo Hutton, Ollie Hawkins as a surprise inclusion at centre back. We then had Shad Ogie, Max Clark, Ethan Coleman back in the side. Amani Little, Jack Nolan, Jaden Clark, which is Warren's best friend, as we all know. Jules Lapsley, and again Marcus Wiley up front. So we also had Luca Ashby-Hammond, Alex Giles, Johnny Williams, Elliot Nevitt, Joe Bode, Josh Andrews, and Jacob Wakelin. So I'm going to just point out the glaringly obvious miss from that. Mr. Bradley Dack was a last-minute thing, I believe, Warren, because we were in the stands at the time, and then I got the notification on my phone that he'd been replaced with Joe Bode, apparently to a niggling hamstring thing that he had after the Peterborough game. Apparently not too much of an issue, but I was quite surprised that he got pulled. Warren, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the broken fingernail, which is probably the true story, it is probably right. Now, if you've got hamstring strains and whatever, you don't take a risk at this stage of the season. Yeah. You might have taken a risk if it was the 40th game of the season to try and get him through the game or get him some minutes on the game where he could have maybe turned it. But at this stage of the season, you definitely don't.
Yeah, I think Matt. I think that it's one of them things, isn't it? I've heard a few things on social media the last couple of days, but I think that mainly, Matt, that he's probably just that, everyone's saying they don't necessarily think that he's going to play many games this season. But, you got to think about it. He's not really had a pre-season at all. So when he does get an injury at this stage, it's easier. And people are quite quick to comment on the fact that, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. It's 5 games into the season. So, Matt, yeah. So what do you think of it, mate?
I mean, look, yeah, you're right. I think early on in the season, your player feels a slight little niggle. You're not going to want to risk him. And even Bonham alluded to it, that's why they took 19 on the coach, just as obviously a precaution. Obviously the biggest shock, I think, actually, when that lineup came out, I'll be honest, I actually thought, obviously, we all believe that Robbie McKenzie was going to potentially start at the back, but obviously there's been another little niggling injury there. But for Ollie Hawkins to actually come back in with a broken arm, I think that was a great point from his point of view. I mean, it looked very, very heavily bandaged. But yeah, on the Dack situation, I think you've got to be very careful. You've got to protect him. I do generally believe we're probably going to see him maybe 15, 20 games this season. I don't think we're going to see him that often, not down to little niggling injuries, but just from the sort of style that Bonner is playing and the other players that they've got playing in that position at this moment in time. But we can only but see. Look, he's a star signing for us. He's a player that we always, would have dreamed to have coming back. He's not 100% fully fit. We know about the injuries he's had. And I think Bonner's made the right call there and just said to him, look, okay, if you've got this little niggle, I'm not even going to risk you just sitting on the bench for 90 minutes. We'll just take you out of the team and bring in Joe Bode.
Yeah, Warren, you got anything else to say on that?
No, my only concern before we go into the actual game is I'm really concerned with the amount of niggling injuries that we've picked up since the start of pre-season. I think it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. The amount of players that we've had out, The amount of players missing, little knocks, little niggles, little pulls, little strains. Something I don't think there's something right with the actual training. To be honest, you shouldn't have this many injuries. I understand players have got to get fit, but have we overpushed the players in pre-season, or have we not done enough in pre-season? I don't know. I'm not on the training pitch, but I think it's concerning that we've got so many injuries. I think Ollie Hawkins playing with a broken arm against Doctor's advice was absolutely amazing. I thought he did okay. He didn't do a lot wrong. But to be honest, looking at the lineup, it pretty much picks itself.
It does. I mean, I was quite surprised with Ollie Hawkins' inclusion, to be quite honest with you, because when we were walking, we literally got off the coach, I believe, or we were walking to the Beefeater next to the ground, and I thought that Mackenzie would have been in the squad. I wasn't 100% sure that Ollie Hawkins would. So so talk us through that, Matt. Like without the inclusion of Mackenzie, do you think that was a good point, or is he injured? I'm not 100% sure because he wasn't even on the bench.
I believe he has picked up a knock. I thought I heard Bonner say, I might be mistaken, might have been another player he's talking about. But from what I understand, it was a knock that he's picked up. And again, not to risk him. So they've decided, obviously, to go with Ollie. Again, as Warren alluded to, the fact that the doctor said, don't play, and he's gone, no, I'm willing to play, is great testament to the guy in a position that he's played twice for us, once or twice in pre-season. He played at the back, and the last few times we've used him, he's been at the top. I would have thought, to be honest, I mean, my initial thinking before even going into the game was if obviously Ollie's got this broken arm, he's probably not going to play. If another player was to get injured, would we potentially go to a 3 at the back? But no, it looks like it's been obviously taken right out of our hands, and Ollie's decided to step up and jump in.
That's fine.
Because I have to dive off for 2 seconds because somebody's just rung my doorbell.
Okay,
Apologies.
all right. Well, we'll just move on then quickly to the first half key moments for us. And we will move on to the second minute when Coleman was wiped out. I think he was wiped out. At first viewing, I thought he was wiped out. Hutton's header into the air. Even Coleman watched it all the way, really. And then he just clattered. He just got clattered, really, by Brandon Fleming. Personally, for me, when I first saw it, as I say, I thought it could have been a red card, possibly a yellow. But when you see it again, it's literally the ball comes over. He's not even looking at the player. He's just watching the ball, and then he gets clattered, Warren. So, no card for me. What do you think, mate?
No, there's nothing in it. He went for the ball. He didn't go for the man. It was just one of them incidents that happens on a football pitch.
Yeah, definitely.
Get up, wipe yourself down, get on with it.
Yeah, that's it. Get up, get on, man up, get on with it. Don't
forget, don't ask me about too much of this because I was 7 points in watching this. It's a small incident, right? Going back, small incidents I may not remember.
Oh yeah. I did think that when I see you, he was talking a lot of rubbish, but that's just you.
It was good.
Anyway, Matt, we were talking about Coleman's wipeout when he got smacked in the first 2 minutes.
Red card. No. Look, it was almost pretty much what I would say a 50-50 challenge. They were both going for. There was no malice in it. I think if the ref had given a yellow card, nobody would have really complained. But at the same time, the fact that he didn't get a yellow card, again, I think nobody really complained again too much. It was a genuine challenge for the ball. Obviously, he's caught him. It is what it is. But, I mean, there was no harm done to Coleman, and that's obviously the main thing going forward there.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, if it had been later on in the game, I think that maybe it could have been a yellow, possibly a second yellow if a player was on a yellow already. But yeah, I don't think first 2 minutes. I don't think that it's going to be that. So yeah, we're then talk about the Donny chance in the 7th minute. Matt, so Coleman slides to the ball. Amani Little tries to control it, but he doesn't get it at all. It then goes to Harry Clifton, gets it back the first time touch, through ball to Jordan Gibson. So I think I've got that wrong. Yeah, Clifton and Gibson. Yeah, there you go. I think that this is one of them ones where it looks like a more threatening chance than it actually was, because Glenn Morris slipped and then he's through on goal. Glenn Morris slipped and then managed to get the ball. I think it looked a bit more threatening than it actually was.
No, yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I mean, I think obviously had Morris not have had that slip, it would have been a very comfortable, he's got the ball a good, few seconds before the player had any chance. But obviously with a slip, with the wet pitch, unfortunately, he's gone down, but it's just given that player that extra sort of second where he's thinking, I'm going to get in here and be able to nick the ball. But it was a great recovery by Glenn. He got back up straight away, straight up onto the ball, dived on top of it. You can see him kind of looking around thinking, what the hell's just happened here? Obviously they've really walked the grass up there, and it was nice and slippy for him. But the fact, obviously, he recovered, he was safe.
Yeah, Warren, what do you think, mate?
Mate, the fact that we're actually even talking about this as a possible chance just shows how bad the game was when it comes to penalty area action. There wasn't a lot, let's be honest. Right?
We have to have something to fill the hour, right?
That weren't a chance, right? It was a comfortable save. It was nothing that I was worried about. Move on. It was a nothing.
Right. Okay. Well, we move on to the 18th minute then, and I'm sure Warren probably won't want to get involved with this one either. So it was a corner that was played to Dane Westbrook, who then squared it to Gibson, and he had a pop, and it went wide. So, yeah. Anyone got any thoughts on that one, or are we just going to keep moving through these chances and not having any?
Yeah, well, let's jump on to the next one, because I'd like to talk about the free kick routine.
Well, okay, so yeah, Jack Nolan had a free kick. Usually he would pop it into the box. It was pretty much a carbon position, wasn't it, really, from last week with the goal. And he decided to square it to Amani Little, who had a pop. At first, I thought that this was just an absolute howler of a shot, but didn't realise until further inspection that it's actually taken a deflection off of the defender and gone out for a throw. Matthew?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing, like, you'd think Gills of old of last year, first thing they would have done is just pump that ball straight into the box. But Nolan obviously using his smarts to find Little and actually giving him the opportunity to be able to take a ping and have a shot at goal. I was in the same boat as you, actually. Obviously, when I saw the shot, I thought, oh, that's gone well wide. What shit game. It has taken a deflection, which... I don't know if it was going to be going in on target or not, but again, it was nice to see a little bit of creativity not much creativity in that first half, but there was a little bit there from the guys to think, let's not just pump it into the box, let's try and work something from here.
Yeah, Warren?
To be honest, it was probably the only decent set piece that we took all game.
Yeah.
Right? I thought the rest of the corners, any free kicks that we took were woeful. I'm sorry. I thought the delivery at times left a lot to be desired. And Jack Nolan, unfortunately, was at the heart of that in the first half.
Yeah.
He's a better player when you're aimlessly kicking a corner kick straight into the goalkeeper's arms. Where
do you know what?
Go on, Matt. Oh, he's gone. I think he's drowned.
I was going to say it felt to me very much especially that first half, like a last season performance.
Oh, don't say that.
I do. I say that.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it wasn't great. But we will get on to the assessments of the first and second half. But we are just now talking about the action from the first, the minimal action that there was. So we're just trying to pull that from there. So yeah, 25 minutes. Then we go for a half chance from Nolan. Hutton's long throw into the box. Hawkins chested it down, and then Nolan basically just smashes it against Sterry. It was one of them first halves, wasn't it, where it was like small chances here and there. We didn't really get the ball. It was back to front. There was nothing in the middle. So we'd go from centre back to forward, to centre back to forward. Oh, Max gone. Hey, off you go. He got bored.
Yeah.
So yeah, we move on to ping pong ball in the Gillingham box. So Coleman loses the ball like really high up the pitch. Donny break and Sharp passes to Fleming. He then feeds it to Gibson. It's then saved by Morris. Sharp then has a rebound, which was then blocked by Ogie. And then Westbrook has a rebound, which is then blocked by Ogie again, I believe. And then the pass falls to Molyneux. He then crosses it, and Ogie blocks again. Matt isn't even. Oh, hold on. He's in the studio. There we go. Right. So, yeah, Matt. So I'll ask you about this one.
Hello. So, apologies. I was on the wrong Wi-Fi network. Apologies.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why Stu turned around and said, "Sort your Wi-Fi out." Yeah. So anyway, 28th minute ping pong ball. So Coleman loses the ball, high up the pitch. Donny break. Sharp passes to Fleming, who then feeds it to Gibson and saved by Morris. Sharp then has a rebound, which is blocked by Ogie. It then comes to Sterry, who shoots and blocks again. Then it comes to Westbrook. It was just like a bit of a ping pong session for a bit there. And that was when I thought to myself, I was like, we're in trouble in this game because we just couldn't get out of our box or clear it or anything.
I mean, the one thing that proved to me is that the Gillingham players, you know, all the squad there were willing to literally put their bodies on the line, get in front of everything as much as possible, and protect our goal. I said it, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It did really feel like the first half really felt a lot like last season, where we were pretty much defending for our lives. The only difference with that is I actually kind of felt that Doncaster, you know, up until the goal, weren't going to get a chance. I thought we were just going to defend valiantly, stop them from getting any kind of shots on target. And that's ultimately what we did with this ping pong chance. Unfortunately, you know, football is obviously a results business. We can't go through the whole season, though, just stopping another team scoring. We need to be able to get up that other end and put the ball in the back of the net. And if we don't do that, it could be a tough season for us. But that just showed there that, you know, I said all the players were willing to get in front of the ball, dive in front of it, put their bodies on the line to block it and stop us from conceding at that moment in time.
Yeah, Warren?
I totally agree with Matt.
Bloody hell. Can I record that?
Yeah.
I'll say, can we just cut that out and can I have that as my
ringtone and just save it for future reference?
No, I agree with Matt. We put bodies on the line. Unfortunately, I can't fault effort. We gave 100% effort, but I just think the quality throughout the whole game was missing. I mean, even in that bit when it was a bit of ping pong, we didn't actually really clear our lines. We didn't get rid of the ball.
No.
Although we blocked, we never won the second ball, which was a point that I made for last season that I felt we lost a lot of second ball last year. Mm-hmm. And as Matt alluded to, it just looks a lot like last season, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, well, then we get on to a minute later, and I think that my prediction that we're in trouble here was right. Because 1 minute later, Molyneux crosses into the box, and it's a big deflection of Max Clark. It then loops over, falls to Gibson, who heads it into the middle. And Hawkins barely touching Billy Sharp, just basically on the half turn, really, wasn't it? And just slots it into the back of the net. And I think it was coming. We should have been tighter to him. I think if Max Amer or Ogie or Masterson were in that position, I think that he wouldn't have had the chance. But it is what it is. Them's the breaks, and I don't mean the pun with regards to Hawkins' arm, but you know, it is what it is, isn't it?
Do you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of a striker trying to defend in a corner situation, getting totally the wrong side, letting the player roll across your body. You can kind of almost see that Hawkins hasn't played there, for a while. But I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying it was totally his fault, but I would say he was probably slightly at fault for that goal because of the way he let Billy Sharp roll. And when you've got a player of Billy Sharp's quality playing up top, he gets any kind of half opportunity like that, he's going to try and get a shot on goal. And ultimately, just stepping to the right behind him just gave Billy that opportunity to roll in turn and get his shot on goal, and ultimately put the ball in the back of the net.
Should the ball come back in to Sharp?
So from the header back into Sharp, he sort of just let him almost roll around his body.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is should we have done better at the far post to stop the ball coming back into Sharp?
Oh right, when Sterry got it, yeah. We could have done. I think it was Romeo Hutton on him, wasn't it?
Yeah. I should have done better there.
Yeah, he doesn't really jump for the ball. He doesn't really sort of go to get the ball at all, which is a little bit concerning from a defender that they're not going and attacking the ball when it's in the area. But it did kind of sort of loop up over him, and I kind of vaguely remember him sort of like looking, where's it gone? And it almost like he didn't even realise that player was behind him. But still in that situation, the player has to get the ball back across to the box. And it was too easy, I think, from a Doncaster point of view to do that because, Hutton never really got up and challenged for the ball, which was, as I said, rather unfortunate because, he could have maybe tried to put him under a bit of pressure and then that ball might not have come back across our box.
Yeah, so I need to apologise because it wasn't Sterry, it was Gibson that had the header into the middle. I really liked what Sterry did all game, so I've kind of got his name in my head, I guess. But Warren, I personally think that. Do you think that the fact that he's got a cast on or something would have kind of hindered him from doing anything?
No, I just think he's got to turn in circle with a QE too, to be honest.
Yeah, runs in treacle. Sorry. Anyway, love you, Ollie. We'll then move on to the 34th minute. Westbrook's free kick to Fleming, cross into the box, and let's make no bones about it. Morris flaps at it. It comes to Molyneux, and he tries a cheeky lob, but luckily went over the net. And to be fair, with a player that's in form like he is, why not?
He's a good player.
He's a brilliant player.
You can do good things when you're a good player.
Absolutely brilliant player. What do you think, Matt? Do you think he's had such a good start? I think he's scored like 4 or 5 goals in the first 5 games.
Yeah, he's been on top form here. Look, I mean, I'll be honest. My initial reaction as soon as the ball had left his foot was, "We're going 2-0 down here." It just looked like it was dipping, but lucky for us, it didn't dip enough, and it did sail over onto the top of the bar. But maybe Morris might look back at that and think, sort of, why did I not try and grab it, and why did I almost flap at it? Whether it was a defender not hearing a shout from him or whatever. Again, it was giving them an easy opportunity to try and put themselves 2-0 up, and just kind of glad that they didn't.
Yeah. So, 41st minute, I think I hadn't. It was a couple of minutes after when I went down the tunnel. But Molyneux once again involved. Jinx past 2. It falls to Bailey, who crosses it, and Billy Sharp's header is just wide. Warren, I think we can both agree that half-time pint couldn't have come quick enough.
No, that's right, especially as I do pay for it.
Yeah.
I think someone else's pint. Sorry, Steve from Edinburgh. But no, honestly, it just seems so much like samey. We tried hard. We passed the ball at times very well in the first half. Unfortunately, it was in our own half where we passed the ball very well. We didn't create anything of real note. Wiley wasn't in the game. Our two wide players were very poor. When we did get the ball to them, it was stop, go back, same as last year. There was nothing really direct in that first half that we could say as fans that we deserved anything from that first half.
Yeah, Matt.
Do you know what? Here's a question for you two. If that chance was reversed and that had fallen to one of our players, say Ollie Hawkins, and he had put that ball wide, we would be ripping him a new one. A player of Sharp's quality missing what is essentially a free header from 8 yards out and putting it wide. The footballing gods must have been smiling slightly on us because, I mean, he should have buried that. And the Billy Sharp of old would have definitely buried that. But it was a free header in the box. As Warren alluded to earlier, going forward, we were absolutely, shocking. We couldn't really put anything together. I don't even know if we actually had a chance in that first half, a shot on target. But luckily, the second half came around pretty quickly. Things changed a little bit for the better.
We will talk about the second half in a minute.
Yeah, I do think, we were incredibly lucky just to be going in at 1-0 down at half time.
Yeah, so we will just get on to the stats that don't really mean anything to Warren.
There you go. So, yeah, look, I mean, shots. We've had 2 shots, one of them being the Amani little effort. But none on target, no corners. We had more possession there because we were passing, as Warren said, passing the ball nicely around at the back. But we were doing everything in our final third or the middle third, but we were doing nothing in that final third, in their top final third. Whether that's down to selection of players going that started the game. I'm not, calling anyone out individually. I know Wiley didn't have a great performance. But do we need to think about actually potentially changing tactics? Is this 4-2-3-1 formation going forward really working for us? Look, I know we've had a lot of players out injured and they've got to come back. Most of those players are going to be in Bonner's first starting 11, I'm sure. But at the moment, this 4-2-3-1 formation, I really don't think it flatters us at all.
But then, see, my halftime evaluation basically is it went from back to front. There was nothing in the middle. We didn't have the wingers involved. We didn't have the middle 2 involved. We didn't have Lapsley involved. So when you're going from back to front, it then almost made Wiley obsolete because he's not going to be jumping and he looks really isolated at times, right? So that was for the first 20 or 30 minutes, I think, that we were like that. And then we started getting the middle 2 involved, the wingers involved and Lapsley involved, and we looked a bit better. But we were just absolutely hopeless in possession. So, yeah, that was my halftime assessment, really.
We just didn't hold the ball up. And this is why I'm a great lover of playing 2 up front at this level. Maybe at the level up, you can start playing 1 up front. But I think players ain't the brightest at this level. And I think playing 2 up front where we can hold the ball up is quite paramount, personally.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm sure we'll get on it to a little bit later on, but I mean, just out of interest, what would be your preferred formation, Warren?
4-4-2.
Mike Bassett.
England will be playing 4-4.
And you're not swearing.
I know. I stopped.
Honestly, I think football is too complicated now with systems and how we play and whatever. we worry too much about opposition players. We don't get on the front foot enough. And this has been a problem with Gillingham teams over the last 3 or 4 years. We don't get on the front foot enough because we're playing this silly 4-2-3-1, whatever formation you want to call it. Everyone seems a bit clueless, to be honest, on how to play it properly. We're playing 4-2-3-1. We're looking at stats and passes and runs and sprints and whatever, when actually the only stat that really counts is the goals column up the top, where it says we're 1-0 down and we ain't had a shot on target first half.
Yeah. Okay, gents. Well, we will move on, and it was a very special highlight for myself. I got to meet young Alistair on Saturday. Alistair has Williams syndrome. It was his first ever game for the Gills. His dad's been a lifelong Gills fans, but they live in Yorkshire now, so he doesn't get to as many games as he wants. And only Gills gifted him with a lovely new yellow shirt, which we are both now wearing for that. And we also gave him a View From The Medway shirt. So massive well done to the only Gills, really. He brought it to me at work on Friday, bless him. He messaged me and said, where can I bring it to you and you can take it up? So yeah, he brought it to me. So well done, Neil. And I hope that Andy and Alistair had the best day. We tried to help. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So we will then unfortunately move on to the second half. So Nevitt came on for Wiley, which I think was a decent decision. I think, it was a good move. No disrespect to Wiley, but Matt, he looked isolated up top, didn't he?
He did. Unfortunately, I think Nevitt looked pretty isolated as well when he came on, but he just gave us something a little bit different up top. Look, first league start for us, obviously first league appearance for us coming off the bench in a very sort of bitty game there. I wasn't expecting miracles. I did like some of the bits that I did see from him, and he's going to probably be one of the first names on the team sheet next week when we play Tranmere. But yeah, I think obviously by this point it was almost, I know it was pretty much happened at half time, but I think most of us Gills fans, we weren't expecting him to come and set the world alight there.
Yeah, Ron?
Yeah, Wiley just looked out of his depth, didn't he? Let's be honest. Right. The lad's got a lot of time to improve. I like him. I think he's going to be a good player in time. But because of the injuries that we've got within the squad, we're having a problem. And it's probably 3-4 months too soon. He's got to get full-time training. He's got to get used to the pace of professional football compared to playing at Enfield Standard of last season, which was Isthmian Premier League. I think there is a big difference in pace. He's got to get used to it. I like his runs. Some of his runs were very good. We just didn't get the ball to him.
I think as well. It's it's just like I said earlier, back to front. There was nothing in the middle. There was nothing on the wings until a couple of minutes. Well, about 10 minutes before half time, really, and then it kind of continued after the break. For the first 60 minutes, I think Molyneux was a nuisance again. He managed to get the cross in, and it is a defection of Clark. And I think it made Glenn Morris think about it a little bit because he dived for it, but it hit the roof of the net. I think we'll skip through a little bit faster, I think, on these ones because we know the result. Molyneux again threatening. He looked good cross, but Matt, he hits the bar. Do you think it was a cross or do you think it was a shot?
100% across. I think Max Clark does exactly the right thing by pushing him out towards the byline. The problem with a player like Molyneux's capabilities, he only needs half a yard. Yeah, I do think it obviously must have taken a slight deflection off Max, the way it kind of looped up in the air. But again, yeah, as you said, Morris was definitely scrambling. He wasn't too sure whether it was going to drop this one side of the bar or not. But you know, in that situation, if you give a player that half a yard that he needs, he's gonna make something.
Yeah, I feel like Molyneux's a cheat code in this league. I've got to be honest. I feel like it's a cheat code. Like we just, no matter how much you mark him out of the game, he just still seems to make chances and still makes it. So anyway, yeah, Warren, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was just a lucky effort. It wasn't much of anything really until he got a little bit lucky at the bar. Did it look like it was going in? Possibly, but did it really?
Yeah. No. So yeah, I think it was a cross, but we will move on because we are taking our time tonight, which is fine. We can do that. It's our channel.
It's live.
It's live. Why not? We just go on for 4 hours. Should we just do? We should do it for charity one day. We should literally just 4 hours. I'll probably get bored of Warren after one, but you know.
So I was bored after you for a minute.
Anyway, right. So we'll go to the 55th minute quickly because the ball was played through to Clifton after a touch from Sharp. It was like a through ball to Clifton, but Sharp touched it and then it got through to him, and then Morris made a good save, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was a save you expect the goalkeeper to make in that situation. But yeah, again, it was just kind of really sort of letting Donny come on to us there. I really feel that we needed to sort of start trying to tighten up a little bit more and really try and push going forward. So we're always going to give them a few chances going the opposite way. But yeah, Morris did what Morris does and kept it at 1-0 for us.
Warren, do you have anything to say on that, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, 57th minute.
It was a nothing chance.
It was, yeah. I'm just trying to, you know, gradually just like trying to make some content out of nothing, really. So
at the end of the day, it was a nothing chance.
Yeah, so
it was a not regular save for a goalkeeper.
Yeah. So we just go then Hutton's corner and Hawkins' chance. Hutton with the deep corner, Donny's keeper flaps at it, and then Hawkins tries, and I think it was on the volley or half volley as a shot. But then I was watching it earlier, and it looked like it come off Lapsley because Lapsley was in with the defender that it came off. And yeah, so anyway, we move on from that one because you know you two seem really excited. So we will go from for Wakeling for Clark came on the 60th minute, Williams and Coleman for Coleman. 77 minutes, Andrew for Lapsley, 83 minutes, Bode for Nolan. So we will go to the last minute and the last chance, really. The corner was played in, and I was quite frustrated with this because we're from where we were standing. Johnny Williams was in about 18 yards on the 18-yard box in tons of space. So he could have been cute and he could have passed it to Johnny Williams. He could have had a shot. Instead, he crosses it in. Little gets it's then bowled out. Little then gets on the end of it. A bit of a mix-up with Johnny Williams, but then Little gets a shot. And to be fair, it was if it had been a couple of inches lower, it would have been a top corner beauty from Little. So, yeah, any thoughts on that, lads?
Yeah, I need to say there on that situation, the look that Johnny Williams gives on Armani Little after he basically steals the ball off of him. And I get it. Armani Little was stepping up today for that on that day. So as captain, probably had a bit of a point he wanted to maybe prove. But to be honest, the right option there was to leave it for Johnny, who had acres and acres of time to be able to turn and whip the ball back in, where we have lots of height in that team. Instead of, I think, Armani Little going for the shot, because, you know, it had to be a spectacular effort to to beat what is essentially 20 players standing in front of you. Where I think the better option would have potentially have been to try and ping it back into the box and use our height advantage in there to try and get another shot on goal.
Or
Yeah, it was, to me, it was just another mess up from a corner kick routine. We didn't look like scoring from it. Decision making as throughout the game was poor. Should have gone to Johnny Williams. Should have been done quick. We didn't, and then it ended up with Little and Williams getting in a tangle. As you say, should have gone back in. It didn't, and it was the story of the day. Really, it was just a bit of a mishmash of everything for the whole game, and I think they just summed it up at the end.
Yeah. No, we've got a little comment for Warren here. Just Gilles Greg, do you like Warren's no-nonsense approach? Well, I think so.
Love it. I love it.
We do like Warren's no-nonsense approach. Sandwiched in between, me that's on the fence with things, Matt that's really, really excited about things, and then Warren's just like, yeah, but we weren't that great.
I'm not going to gloss things up for anybody. I'm going to tell you.
He's wearing a shirt and tie today as well. Look, come on, he's actually made an effort.
I just want to bring a bit of class to the show. And if you don't show it in here, but it's a pink shirt or a lilac shirt with a lilac-y tie.
Oh, bless you.
My light that I've got, but
watch out. Warren's after your job, mate. All right.
Shall we all get white shirts and official Gillingham ties? We could wear them on the show next week.
I've got a nice tie, paisley tie, Gillingham tie.
Well, Warren told me on Saturday that he was trying to find a pink dress that he could wear on tonight's show.
Yeah,
well, Warren, we all know you look pretty in pink.
Exactly, mate. Psychedelic Furs. Do you remember that band? Of course you didn't.
I know them.
Isn't she?
Anyway, boys, we will get on to our man of the match, and I think that for the third week in a row, Shad Ogie has got mine. Matt has gone Amani Little, and Warren's gone Shad Ogie. I think it was a difficult one, to be fair. I would have gone either or. So I'm going to say, I think Shad, for me, he was my player of the season last season. He was a bit inconsistent last season, but this season I think he's really found a level of consistency and he's really shining in the team. So, yeah, we go with Warren.
Yeah, Shad got it for me just for his blocks in the ping pong battle. I thought Shad played well. I thought Amani Little played very well. Max Clark probably had a half-decent game. Coleman did well to last as long as he did. And as for the rest, I wasn't impressed.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, look, I same boat as you guys. It was, do we go for Armani Little? Do I go for Shad Ogie? I decided to go with Armani in the end because for the whole game, I kept thinking, Gillingham, we need leaders on the pitch. We always need leaders on the pitch. And for me, there was only one leader that was standing out the entire game. That was Armani Little. Stats up here on the screen, as you can see, that 90 minutes played, 88 touches, 6 duels won, 84 pass completion accuracy, 3 tackles. Look, he really did try driving the team forward from the base of that midfield. I just feel, and I can really actually kind of feel that there's going to be a really nice partnership between Coleman and Little once they're both back to full fitness. But for me, yeah, I just think he shaved it on the day. I couldn't have gone for Shad 3 weeks in a row. For me, Armani just shaved it on the day. I thought it was a really good performance by the standing captain yesterday, obviously the vice captain for the team, but really good performance by him. I just really hope that these performances don't die off now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, do you know what? There was one pass that he made. I think it was in the first half. Yeah, in the first half. He was literally like not even by the halfway line, and he just sprayed this ball out to the left hand to the left hand side, and it was kind of like Beckham-esque. It was like just a proper nonchalant, just gonna spray it out there, and it was a really good pass. Not saying that that's the reason he should be man of the match, but he was good throughout the whole game, and for me, it was a toss up between the two. But it's not because of loyalties to Shad, but I think that Shad's just come into his own this season. He's been a lot more consistent. Yes, we're only 5 games in, and we can kind of get lost in the fact that we're only 5 games in. But that was mine. But yeah, absolutely amazing, Matt. Like he was, Amani Little was brilliant. So anything else on that, Warren, mate?
No, mate. As I say, it was Little or Ogie. Them two were the standout players. There's a couple of little cameos, but apart from that, I didn't think we played very well at all.
No. Yeah. We didn't really, but then we also have to put it into the context of the amount of injuries that we've got. We also have to.
We won't. I can't. You can't say anything about this team, and I'm not going to have a go at Bonner or his tactics or some of these players because we're not at full strength. When we are at full strength, then we'll see what we're like. To me, it's getting through these first 10 games, get our players back fit. It's just unfortunate that some of these 10 games have been quite difficult games. Fleetwood away, Doncaster away. I think Morecambe showing that we had to win there really because they've lost every game 1-0. It's Carlisle. I thought we were a good side and we beat them 4-1. They're third from bottom. I think they could well come good. I just think that this 10-game period, I mean, it's another hard one Saturday, Tranmere. We just got to get through it, get our players back, and then hopefully some of our fixtures on paper are a little bit better.
Yeah. There's been a bit of an overreaction in certain areas of the fan base, isn't there? Saying, it's remnants, reminding them of last season and this, that, and the other. But there is that context. We've got so many players out. We've got hardly anyone up top apart from Wiley. I mean, no disrespect to Wiley. We've now got Andrews and Nevitt coming back. We've then got injuries in defence, or like to Masterson, who last season was pivotal to our season. It's just all over the board. And, we could get into the ins and outs of it, pick the bones out of it, all we want. But the facts are we're 5 games into the season and we've had, 30-odd players out in that space of time.
I always look at a good promotion winning team as a good spine. So if you look at the spine of the team, you've got the goalkeeper out injured. You've got Masterson out injured. You've got Bradley Dack out injured. And you've had Nevitt and Andrews out injured.
Yeah.
That's one of the team.
Yeah.
And that's where your strongest players should be. With that, as I say, I remain a little bit on the fence. And yes, more time. I just didn't like the way we played on Saturday. I thought under Bonham would be a bit more front foot. I was very disappointed with Nolan, disappointed with Clark. We didn't create anything from out wide, where I thought that's where the focus would be under Bonner. It's just one of them things. You've got to take it. Is it the worst side I've ever seen? Absolutely not. Is it anywhere near as bad as 2 years ago? No. Is it as bad as 30 years ago? No. It is what it is. I can't see the point in slaughtering players, right?
No.
And I don't like Jaden Clark. I don't think he's good at this level. If it was down to me, Jaden Clark would go out on loan to
a national league team,
right? Jaden Clark would go to a high-level conference on loan. I'd play Bodie in his place. I think he's a better player. I think he's a stronger player. And I'd keep Bodie within the squad. When Rowe and Nolan are both fit, they play. It's difficult. at the moment, with all the injuries that we've got to the spinal team, it's difficult for Bonner to be able to create a settled side and be able to play the way he wants. So I'm prepared to give him more time. Saturday, the last 2 away games, we've basically played the same. We've not looked like scoring, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest concern at the moment is, we've got obviously all these players out injured. If they were to go and get injured in 4 months' time, right in the middle of the season, and we're left with the players that started on Saturday, do you generally believe we're going to get promoted?
I think
I don't see it. You're right as well. Pretty much any team that's ever gone up, it's because they've had a very strong middle of the team. And when you've got these players like Nevitt, when Jake Turner's out injured, we were down Marson, we were also down Amar because of the booking. It's been very frustrating because we can see that there are quality players in that team individually, but for some reason, working as a team, working as a collective unit, working as Gillingham Football Club going forward, there just doesn't seem to be anything there, and it's really frustrating. I do want to make a point, though, please, if I may. Some of the stuff that people have said on X, on Facebook about certain players is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
absolutely disgusting. I do not care if you think a player is the worst player in the world. You don't slate them personally. Give them constructive criticism. Absolutely fine. They're human beings at the end of the day, guys. They probably, they might earn a little bit more money than us, but they're human beings. They've got feelings, and a lot of people go, Jayden Clark, it's because he needs confidence. Well, if you're slating him on social media, how the hell is he going to get any confidence? Yeah. Shut up. Don't say anything. Keep your mouth closed, and let's see this player grow.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, at the end of the day, these players do see certain comments online. They do witness it, and they are only human. It's like I wasn't very happy with Jack Nolan at the weekend. Didn't see me say anything. I say that I'm not happy with the way that he played and the way that he has played so far, but I think that Mark Bonner's probably telling him that as well. It's not a case of slating him off, but yeah, I've seen some stuff that are personal attacks, and I don't agree with it. At the end of the day, they're doing their job. So yeah. Warren, anything else to add to that, mate?
Yeah, this is the modern era that I hate, to be honest, with the social media stuff. People, and what you find is that a lot of these people that do the slaughtering and the slagging off and whatever hide behind pseudonyms. They're not actually got their name out there. I've always put my name on my social media. I only do Twitter, but I've always put my name on social media. Everyone knows who I am. Everyone can see my comment. It's not. I don't look behind anything. I don't. Whatever I say, I'm upfront about it. When I'm on this show, whatever I say is because that's how I feel. I'm a passionate lover of Gillingham Football Club, and no one should be able to take what some people put on social media, and then they wonder why players don't mix with fans like they used to after a game and have a drink. Then they wonder why players, when they're walking up the road from their car up to the tunnel to go and get changed, don't want to interact with supporters, because some of the abuse on social media is just horrendous.
Yeah, and you know what? You always have to put it.
Do I know him as a human being? No. Why would I slaughter Jayden Clark as a human being? I don't think he's good enough. That's fine. That's my opinion. Right? Yeah. Matt is of an opposite opinion, and he says that he's a good player. But that's football. Football is about being able to give opinions. It's not about being personal.
No, you don't get personal.
I've got to say, last year I had a bit of an issue going on mental health wise. Look, Jayden reached out and spoke to me, which he did not have didn't have to do, but that meant obviously quite a lot to me, to be honest. I thought that was such an amazing thing for him to do. He doesn't have to do that. And you're right, Warren. You know, footballers back in the day, after the game, they'd be in the bar, in the factory with you, having a beer, having a chat. Oh, how'd you get on? What did you think of the game? They're not going to do that now. They're going to want to hide away. Because at the end of the day, if all we're ever going to do is be, you know, personally attack players because of the way they look or anything like that, why would they end up wanting to play for our team? The problem I think you have, as Warren alluded to, especially with social media, is people can hide behind a mask. And they feel that when they're hiding behind their mask, they're invincible. They can say whatever they want and get away with it. I'm sorry, that should stop. That needs to stop, because these are players. They're wearing the blue and white of Gillingham. They're trying to play with as much pride and passion as they possibly can. We need to get behind and support them. If you're not happy with the way that somebody is playing, fine, say you're not happy, but don't attack them personally.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Right, and I would love to talk about this all night, lads, but we are now an hour and 11 minutes, and we generally go for an hour. So this is the longest episode we've had. And I apologise if you are still watching. Thank you very much. So we will go on to the travelling fans. So we had 637 travelling fans, myself and Warren being two of them. So we can take that down to 635, I guess.
So 636 true fans and Warren.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, there we go. What did you say about attacking people?
Exactly. I'm going to get upset.
Lady Warren.
No, he gets upset. Don't bless him. Honestly, he didn't even say goodbye to me after the game on Saturday. He just stormed off.
I had the ump.
Like Alice. Right, anyway, guys. So we've literally got a great, actually, apparently we can now get comments on X, because Greg sent that one in. That was on X. So maybe we can now on X. But we've not really got anything again. The fan zone hasn't really kicked off, so I think maybe next week we'll scrap that for the week. See if people.
I've seen one comment by Steve, and it's actually quite a good one for next week. I think I might know your answers. It was the Hawkins or Amar at the weekend. Who would you rather?
I think it's an easy one, isn't it? Really, guys. It's Max Amar. Max Amar has got to be that cement, and then you can vary it with either Oggy or Masterson. I think for me, Oggy and Masterson like to do the same things. So you need that stalwart cement at the back, and then they can do whatever they want to do.
I'm guessing you agree, Warren?
Yeah, you're going to pick Amar every day over Hawkins, right?
Yeah.
What I would like to say is, I think, again, Hawkins done really well to step in with a broken arm. It showed his commitment to the club. Bearing in mind he's transfer listed, right? And he could still go in January. The fact that he was prepared to play with a broken arm, which could result in even more serious injury, is testament to Ollie Hawkins as a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Right, guys, so we will move on and we'll just end it here. So if you are still watching, and thank you for watching, because we have been on a lot longer than we planned to. So you can catch us on Facebook at The View From The Medway, X on at TVFTM, and YouTube on The View From The Medway. So please like, subscribe, everything else. I've been Chris, that's been Warren, that's been Matt. Up the Gills. Good night.